today is going to be pretty high level, right? So I'm going to get you to do a little bit of work. You know, I'm a business coach, so if anyone's ever had a coach, you know that we like to make our players on the field run around while we watch you and guide you. So metaphorically, you guys are going to do some mental laps today, and you are going to be actually producing some sales documentation that you can take back to your practices and implement straight away. But there's a lot of detail that we won't be able to get into too much. So I'm going to show you at the end of the day how we can get some more help. Things like the Facebook group. I've got a workshop series which we can actually help you with a little bit later on. And if you want some more of that kind of help, just let me know and we'll show you what we can do. Okay, a little bit about me. So I'm a business coach. Way back when I started my career, I trained in physiology, anatomy and psychology, and I worked for a little while in that area until I saw the light and went over to the sales side, and I sold neonatal monitoring equipment and surgical monitoring equipment, and after I'd worked in that area for a little bit, I actually had a real creative side to me, and so I actually transitioned over to creative industries, and I spent about 20 years building, running and exiting creative businesses, and I've done all sorts of interesting things. I've owned ad agencies and graphic design firms, film houses, film production houses, photographic studios. But about 10 years ago I transitioned out of that because teaching and working with people was something that I'm really passionate about. I love to see the growth in people. It's very, very satisfying as a career. So I began to become a coach, and currently I'm one of the top 100 coaches, business coaches in the world. I'm actually ranked number 63 at the moment, and I am the #1 coach in Australasia for people performance using behavioural profiling, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Behavioural profiling is a very cool tool. It's called DISC, and I describe it as it's a little bit like seeing the Matrix. Once you understand DISC, you can more or less read minds and understand how people are going to do things, and it's a very, very cool skill for dealing with people. I've had a pretty successful career. You know, I was one of the top 5 Australian photographers. I've been a film and television director, had lots of fun, written scripts, had Hollywood look at my scripts and all that sort of stuff, owned ad agencies. But one of the areas I'm really passionate about is I'm a FIFA qualified soccer coach, and which seems a little bit unusual, right? So the thing about that is I love developing young people, because I reckon young people don't get particularly good mentoring, and on the sports field, particularly for boys, is an incredibly powerful way to mentor them and help them become, you know, men of greatness and young women of greatness. It also helps to understand the psychology of coaching when I work in businesses, because the way you work in businesses has really changed, and the way we educate you guys once you get out of university has changed quite dramatically. And I've worked with some pretty cool people, and I've worked with everyone from Prime Ministers to All Blacks to Jimmy Barnes and all sorts of interesting people. So no, don't have any cool stories that I can legally tell you about, but it's been pretty cool. Now when I work with my clients, we get some pretty good results. Just like when a really good coach works with a sports team, they really lift their game. When I work with a business, we see really pretty sensational results. And a lot of my clients have got really, really great acknowledgement for that. I also happen to play in a few bands. So I'm a musician, and I love getting up on stage and rocking out and just having a really good time. And that teaches me, actually, a lot about working in organisations. So what I've discovered through my soccer coaching, through my music, through my career, is that better people make better business owners. So the better I can get you guys performing, the better we can get the entire enterprise performing. And so part of what we're doing today is we're going to look at actually how do we get a little bit more performance out of you guys when it comes to sales. Now, The nature of this workshop today is that I'm going to guide you guys. It's going to be fairly interactive, right? So as I say, I'm a coach. I like you guys to do some laps. And so you're probably all sitting there at the moment saying, uh-oh, he's interactive. He's going to ask us to actually say things. You're right, I am interactive. And we're going to start by, I'd like to actually know who's in the room. So I'd like you to answer 3 questions. Your name, your practice, where you work, and one interesting hobby that you have. Whether that was as a child or now, that's okay. So we're going to start up the back. You guys thought you were safe. So stand up, introduce yourself, your name, where you work, or your role, and any